Blog Talk Radio.
Spend my nights out in a bar room, liquor was the only love I've known. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottle and brought me back from being too far gone. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. And I'll stay strong on your love all the time. Let me say one more thing. Now, I've looked for love in all the same old places. Yes, I did. Found the bottom of the bottle, always try. Oh, yeah. But when you poured out your heart, no, I didn't waste it, no, I didn't know. 'Cause there's nothing like your love to get me high. Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as the glass of brandy. And I'll stay strong on your love all the time. Won't you play that guitar for me? Yeah. Lord have mercy. Play, yeah.
All right.
All right. I got a story to tell ya. We're gonna take a trip back down memory lane, yeah. I remember way back when, growing up in Atlanta. Seems like yesterday when I lived at home, riding my bike through the neighborhood. Me and my friends saying knock on wood, hanging out till street lights came on. Like every kid, I had a curfew, be in bed by 8, but I had to watch night tracks, so I stayed up late. It was like heaven to hold a girl's hand. And even though I'm now become a man, still feels good to just think back to my childhood days. Yeah, my childhood days. We used to wear polo shirts, eyes out too, fat laces and the Puma shoes. Clowning round at the school bus stop, recess time playing pencil pop. Video games like Pac-Man, wanna be Turbo trying to break heads. Football and Little League, my memories. I used to wanna be a wrestler, I can't forget about Mr. T. I had a crush on Janet Jackson, since she was Charlene. I know somebody out there understands. And even though now I've become a man, still feels good to just think back to my childhood days. Yeah, yeah, my childhood days. I had the Transformers, and y'all remember G.I. Joe? My favorite cartoon used to be the Fat Albert Show. I wanted to grow up and be like Superman. Remember Kangos and parachute pants. Somebody know what I'm talking about. My childhood days. We used to hang out after school, y'all. My childhood days. Drinking Kool-Aid all day. My childhood days. Saturday morning cartoons, conjunction junction, what's your function? I ain't have no bills, don't worry about my childhood days. We didn't have a care in the world. My childhood days. In my childhood days. In my childhood days. I remember, don't y'all remember? I do. I know somebody out there understands. And even though now I've become a man, it still feels good to just think back to my childhood days. Ooh, childhood
Let's go get that money. Let's go get that money. Let's go get that money. Like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we're a team. Different days, same story. Got to go out and get that money. Got mouths to feed and bills to pay. Got to put that S on my chest today. Superwoman, superwoman. Every superwoman needs her Superman. Superwoman, superwoman. Every superwoman needs her Superman. Hey, I gotta pick up the pace. No more time to waste. Gotta put on my case. I gotta win this race. I got far too much to say. Different days, same story. Got to go out and get that money. Got mouths to feed and bills to pay. Got to put that S on my chest today. Superwoman, superwoman. Every superwoman needs her Superman. Superwoman, superwoman. Every superwoman needs her Superman. Superwoman needs her Superman. Superwoman needs her Superman. Hey, I gotta pick up the pace. No more time to waste. Gotta put on my case. I gotta win this race. I got far too much to say. Superman, superwoman. Like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we taking over, and that's no lie. No mountain high with you by my side. Hey, I'm your superwoman, you're my Superman. Hey, like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we will succeed. Superman, superwoman, like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we taking over, and that's no lie. I got your back, baby, and you got mine. Hey, let's go get that money. Let's go get that money. Let's go get that money. Like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we're a team. Superman, superwoman, like Adam and Eve and Bonnie and Clyde, we taking over, and that's no lie. I got your back, baby, and you got mine. What's going on? You have tuned in to another episode of On the Move Unscripted with Patricia M. Goins and co-host
R. Marie on the scene. What's happening? America and the world.
Usually we have our other ladies, Dr. A. Marie and DJ Deshaun Johnson and Kimberly McCants. You know, they're usually with us. But
and Misty.
Misty said she might still be able to call in. She's taking care of some stuff, so that's not done. But the other young ladies, they working hard for the money.
Mm-hmm.
So hard for it, honey. So, but Kim, she's the one who really, before you said it, she said it. She's like, y'all should talk about black men and the prison system. And so I feel like that would be a good topic to talk about. Especially since we have both had family members who have been
in the prison system before, so we know how it affects that side. And then also we have been nurses, both of us at different times in the prison system, so we see that side too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so if you want to call in because you've ever been in the prison system and you got some things that you want to say. I'm sorry. Huh?
I was looking for my phone because I have a caller who wanted.
Oh, well, go ahead. Is that your phone right there? That's your phone. If you want to call in, you can call in. The call-in number is 516-387-1247 because I really feel like, of course, everybody understands. We know that the legal system is not set up for African Americans. So, I mean, and males, definitely. Did you ever work as an intake nurse in the jail?
No.
See, I worked at the intake.
Okay. So what details of the intake?
So I worked intake in Clayton County Jail, and I worked intake at Fulton County Jail. So for any of you who are in Atlanta, you know the Fulton County Jail is over there by off of Rice. It's Rice Street, I think, in the city of Atlanta. And then Clayton County Jail is literally in Clayton County, down 75 South, over there off of Terra Boulevard. So for all of you who are actually in Atlanta. So I worked both. Fulton County was a hot mess. So when I did intake there, this was back in, I want to say, I'm thinking like 2005-ish or something. I don't even think my son was born. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So the intake is when they first come in to get booked. Like, and they have to go through like fingerprint and all that kind of stuff, and then they have to come through medical because medical is where we find out if they have blood pressure medications, if they're seizure patients, all that kind of stuff to see what medications they're on, or so that nurses who are on the floor will be able to give them what they need. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Getting the orders for them, all that kind of stuff. So we used to when they used to come in, a lot of them would come in with horror stories. Like, they would come in, they would be all beat up and stuff, and I'd be like, what the heck did you do? That you beat up like that. Oh, and they would tell me, that happened. The police did that to me. This one guy in particular, I remember him saying, this was some years ago, and I probably should have told somebody what he said because I'm wondering if he told anybody, but he was saying that the police took him somewhere and beat him up first, and then brought him to jail. I remember he wasn't even African American. He was actually a Mexican guy. So, so I did it in Fulton County and Clayton County, and we used to hear a lot of horror stories, or I did. I used to hear a lot of horror stories, and definitely it was like more African Americans and Hispanics than there ever was Caucasians. That's for sure, or any other race for that matter. And most of them were very few white collar criminals. You know what I'm saying? Most of them were either mental health, or they were young African Americans or young Hispanics. That was generally what I saw in intake, at least on the shift that I worked.
Okay.
Yeah, but and then of course we take them up to the floor, and I never understood why the men acted, because I mainly worked the men ward. I couldn't deal with the women. Used to work my nerves. I hated every time I knew I had to go work with them women. My head would just be ready to explode because the women would whine and just petty stuff, man. At least the men got, I could deal with their whining a little bit better. It was something about the women.
Right.
Okay. Did you like working with the women?
I didn't really get to work with the women except for a couple times. I just know they were nastier. Like, wow, I can't believe women are this nasty. They're meaner. Then I did come across a bully. Mm-hmm. And, because you have the option of having them look through the window or have the COs open the door. They always try to encourage you to look, just go through the window. And I said, I need you to open the door because I want to see who I'm dealing with. That way, if I'm here long enough, and hopefully they won't be there long enough, but I'm pretty good at putting names together with faces. So, and that just made it easier for me. And then it was this huge woman, you know, and she just came up in front of this Caucasian lady and just pushed her all out the way. I'm first, B. You know, I'm like, whoa, no, you're not. You're not first. You're going to need to get back in line. Then, you know, I'm glad the CO was there because they're definitely needed. Come up and not have their pill that they were promised that they were going to get. Oh, they're definitely needed. That I will say. But yeah, it was pretty bad with the women. But I really, my heart went out to all the inmates. I treated everybody the same. Now, the one thing I did not understand about the inmates was that, you know, they'll tell you how badly they were treated. And, you know, I should call Six on your side and I should do all this. So, you know, while I'm sitting here contemplating my livelihood, my job, but I'm like, no, these brothers is being mistreated. You know, then they get on out. I don't see nothing about it because now they're out where they can call themselves. And then a few months later, they right back in there like, what happened?
I don't know.
I'm like, I don't know.
Because
repeat offenders, it's hard for me to take you serious. Stay out of trouble, man.
But the problem is, and we got a caller, actually, someone that's calling in, so let me pull them on in. Hello, caller. 380 is your number?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, okay. Who's you?
James Cronenberger.
Hi, James. You said James. Say your name.
James Cronenberger.
James
Cronenberger is a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, James.
And he has a nonprofit organization because he has his own fight with these inmates, trying to help these inmates. So I'm going to introduce him, James, and you can tell him about your organization in which you find the corruption in the system. But
before you introduce and go into about your organization, let me just answer you real quick, Marie, as to why they come back. I feel like, and then he could probably go into this more when he talks about his organization too.
Okay.
But I feel like when they do get out, the system is not set up for them to win.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They can't get a job. You know, if they got good family support, that's a bomb. If they don't, then you know that's a hot mess because they're supposed to be where they're supposed to be. And where they were was a bunch of gangs and guns, they can't be there. So where they gonna be at? And all the kind of there's a lot of things that go into it. But so yeah, definitely, I want to hear what James about your organization and what you think about that.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ladies. This group is called Change Starts With Us, Ohio. We bring awareness out on wrongful conviction. Since we're at 5.5% in the state of Ohio that is wrongfully convicted or totally innocent, and you know, and I'm sure we've been lied to by a few people, but there's so many people that deserve to get their voices heard. Ohio is one of the worst states when it comes to corruption too. Just today we got a call from Dayton Correctional, which is one of the women's prisons, that the women that are starting to get their stimulus check in, the state is taking $400 of it. So
they what? The inmates, because everybody was supposed to get a stimulus, and what he's saying is that inmates are starting to get their stimulus check, but the state is taking $400.
For what?
Right. A fee. And that's at Dayton Correctional. That's not every one, though. And North Central, which is one of the privately run prisons by, I forget the name of the company, but they refuse to print off any copies of that motion to get their stimulus check. So I had to call and talk to the director yesterday, and he called down there and told that they need to start printing them off and hand it to every single inmate in the institution, which is around 3,000 people.
So they're not even giving them the paperwork that they need to even claim their stimulus?
To get their stimulus.
Right. But I thought, because they not have had a bank account or something, because I thought it was just automatically being put into the account.
Like homeless people still got theirs. They had to make other arrangements. You know what I mean?
Oh,
right.
Okay.
But before a prison
system, they just put it on the books.
So
is
some
what
of
they
that
do.
money that they're saying is just sitting out there is probably belonging to a lot of these inmates who are not getting what they need to be able to claim it. That what you're saying?
Right. And a lot of these people are not even going to see a penny of their stimulus check because if they owe court costs or anything, they're going to take that right out of that. So for some people, if I owed that kind of money, I wouldn't even ask for a stimulus check. Because you're not going to get it.
So if they still owe court costs, any type of fees or anything before they get their stimulus, they take all that out.
Well, the government
and also
anyway.
child support,
student loans or child support or anything like that. You're not getting that money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do that
right.
anyway. I understand that part, but not giving them what they're supposed to have to be able to claim what's rightfully theirs. That I don't understand.
Right.
Nope. And, part of the problem is we have to get rid of the corruption, and the way to do that is start voting people out. And start voting in people that care about social issues.
Right, because like when the corona situation first happened, nobody really knew what was going on in the prisons until the inmates who ain't even supposed to have phones was videotaping. I don't know how they was getting them phones, but they was getting them, But that's how we ended up finding out what was going on inside the prison, because if in all honesty, if they hadn't, we wouldn't have known.
That's exactly right.
Right, and then our own governor here in Ohio only released 100 people, and how is that going to keep you 6 feet away when your bunks are 2 feet away? 3 feet actually, and 2 feet the other way. But and that's in the dorms. You would have had to release between 5,000 and 8,000 people if you wanted to keep it at that 6 foot distance.
Right,
yeah.
And you know what? And not only that, but the inmates can't get out. So who's bringing that virus in?
Right.
The staff
That's what
members.
I said. It has to be coming in from faculty.
Yeah. Right. They try to blame the visiting, but the visiting stopped back then. I think it was the end of February, beginning of March. Now they're still blaming family members for all the drugs that's in the system. But they just arrested 2 officers the other day, so I don't know how that's the family members.
We all watch Orange is the New Black. What's that? The Netflix show?
It is, but I've never watched it.
I have.
Yeah.
And,
we know that
all
lady
true.
worked at Marion Correctional. That started that show.
The Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, she's in Ohio, and she taught a program up at Marion Correctional.
What did you say?
What did you say, James? Say it again.
The lady that was over that show, that started that show and authored it, taught at Marion Correctional.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she's.
I was actually in one of her classes.
I know I saw a lot of stuff like the jail system.
It's a business.
It's its own freaking place.
Right.
Like literally, like you might have. I'm sorry for all you correctional officers that you got that jail family and the home family, and I'm about to tell on you. I don't mean to tell on you, right?
Oh yes, I do.
But I'm telling you, they got their family, and then they got their jail wife. They might have a jail, their real husband, and then they have their jail, their what they call them, like their jail husband.
No.
And I'm not talking about the inmate. I'm talking about another correctional officer.
Oh wow.
Right. They might have family inside the jail and family outside the jail.
but they're frowning on that now. All of a sudden,
they're frowning on what?
On family members working in the same institution.
Oh no! I ain't talking about people that's really related.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking
about some correction officers that might have an inmate as a mate, and then go home back to their family.
Or they have another correctional officer that they started a relationship with inside the jail, knowing that they got a spouse at home.
Yeah, that too.
Well, they just busted. They just did an officer for sleeping at the prison because he was homeless.
Oh,
what? No.
Yeah, that was at Belmont.
It got to be deep for you to sleep at the prison because you're homeless and you working.
It's got to be deep that you working and you homeless. That's got to be kind of deep. Because, correction officers, I mean, they're not millionaires and stuff, but it's not like they make minimum wage. They get paid decent money.
He probably just said he said his homeless is still on that clock.
Yeah. They make around $17 to $18 an hour.
Yeah, but when they work that overtime, they be the bomb diggity.
But
you know what?
They work a lot of overtime.
Yeah, because they got a family.
But I also didn't know that a lot of the jails are privately owned. So if they're privately owned, does that mean that they're making a profit when they have because this takes the system all the way around the corner. Okay, so if it's privately owned and corporations are having products done there, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're having inmates create their products for lower wage, right?
Very low wage.
Very low
wage.
Because the highest paid is somebody that's learning asbestos or something like that, and they're only making about $22 a month. So these corporations who are paying these private institutions to create their products for this low wage using the inmates, right? That's kind of like takes you back and makes you think about slavery, how they used the slaves to pick
slave
the cotton.
labor. That's what they call it.
Or that is what it's called. Or like how you saw, like a lot of our American-made car dealerships, they transferred to Mexico because those workers they could pay for like a third of what they were paying Americans. And that's why a lot of our businesses went to foreign countries because you don't have to pay them as much. So, I mean, they always try to find a way to save a penny. But, that's not cool at all. So in the same instance, so if you have officers that's on the street that's clocking people and you're hearing a lot of them say they got a quota, what is that quota for? I was told, now I'm not an officer, but I was told that they need, because every time you get a ticket, you're paying the city. Right. You paying the city is help building, everything within the city. Mm-hmm. So I was told that officers need to have at least 3 quotas a month of tickets. That's why I think I see towards the end of the month, you see officers sitting on bridges with, I came down the Kelton Bridge, and you had you had 2 officers on one side of the street, 2 officers on another side of the street, an officer on the ramp going 70 east waiting, and an officer on the ramp going 70 west, and you had another officer, like 2 officers on the Miller Bridge.
They had none of them make a quota?
Yeah, they had to, because, as somebody, and you see, as soon as you see that, you see an officer get on the thing, and whichever officer is on the ramp, they zoom down, and they get them. That's how they got them.
They do that in the prison system, too. They have to have a quota.
What do you mean?
But I wanted to explain something about the private prisons a lot of people don't know.
Please do.
In Ohio, they have 1 privately owned and 2 privately run. And they are considered non-profit. The building and the property is owned by a company, where the other ones, they lease it from the state.
Okay.
But they are a 501c3. They are nonprofit, which makes no sense because they pay the officers minimum wage, literally minimum wage. And
what?
Yeah, that's what they pay them. Because they have to keep their budget under par, so they're getting worse food than the state side is. Knowing the state side is bad food as it is. Medical is really subpar. they'll write you out to Franklin Medical Center or someplace else instead of having you in their facility if you got medical issues. You have a lot more fights.
I've heard a lot of guys, when I did nursing at Franklin County and Jackson Pike, there's a lot of guys that said, well, I put in a nurse that called 2 weeks ago. I'm like, what? 2 weeks ago? I'm like, well, I'll write their name down because, when you first come on, you have so many people that needs meds. That has to come before everything. Mm-hmm. Now, there was one time that I had to actually stop, and, this guy was sick. He's coughing. He's spitting out green shit, and I'm like, this man is sick. He's going to contaminate, So I took his temperature. It was like at 103, and I told the CO, like, hey, he needs to go. He needs to go right now before he contaminates the whole tank. Oh, well, why don't you wait till I'm like, I'm not waiting, and I could override that order, and that's what I need you to do. And so, and the CO was pissed off that he couldn't sit there and kick in and hang out and talk with everybody else, but I'm like, we got a job to do. I don't want nobody dying on my watch if I can help it. And this man is beyond my help. There's no doctor on call because I work the graveyard shift. I'm like, he's got to go because they had a contract. They had a wing with was it OSU or Grant? Grant. They had a wing with Grant, I believe. And I'm like, you are going to you're going to have to ship him out. But they're very reluctant to do stuff like that. This man's temperature was 103. And when, he went to the hospital, he was diagnosed with having pneumonia and the flu. He could have died. His lungs could have filled up with fluid and died. And they keep that under wraps. When people die, because there were people that were dying in these prison systems from the COVID-19, and they kept it under wraps until inmates were able to get footage of what was going on.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand how they're able to get away with some of the way, like how they're able to get away with some of the treatment. Like, for instance, it would make me nervous to know that there is a nonprofit jail that's not paying their officers that much. Because my thing is, most officers is not going to take less than what they know they can get, unless they're able to do whatever the heck they want to do, and they're not, and there's no consequences for what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that means they
may
can
be
treat
willing
the
to
inmate
sacrifice money for power.
Yeah, because they'll be able to do and mistreat the inmates any way they want to. The one thing Clayton County Jail, and I don't care, I don't even live in Georgia no more, so I can go ahead and tell you. I don't live in them. You know what I'm saying? I did not like how they did the inmates for whatever reason. I felt like that sheriff used his power. Like, he would make all the inmates. When I was there, this is some years back. This is probably when I worked at Clayton. I'm thinking it was like 2008, somewhere around there. No, or maybe less. It might have been 2006, 5, 4, somewhere around there. The difference was going off 20 years. So anyway. When he come down, he would make all the inmates turn to the wall, which I never understood that. And I'm just like, why they got to turn to the wall like that? Like he was a mess. And not only that, but if they go on suicide watch, this was back then. I don't know if they still doing it now, but they used to bake all this stuff into this little block, and that would be their meal. I guess that was their punishment for going on suicide watch. And I used to be like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that some of these prisons do not treat the people right. I know they don't. And so if you got some that's not even paying the officers right or the staff right, then imagine how they're treating the inmates. And you're just not hearing about it because
they keep everything within the
everything
stays within the castle.
Everything stays within the castle. And that's so uncool. So that goes back to these private run jails that are making a profit.
I don't think there should be any. I think they should be ran by each state.
Even nonprofits make a profit. They have to be able to stay afloat. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So they're still making money off of the slave and labor of inmates.
That's true.
That's still just like slavery. What's the difference? So if you want to call in and be a part of our topic today, you can call 516-387-1247. I definitely would love to hear if there's anybody who has actually been in the system before, even if it was 6 months or a month. Maybe you're not a felon. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it was a misdemeanor. You got in there for some weed or something, but you still have seen stuff. because they put everybody together.
Yeah. Yeah, I did more than half my life in prison.
Huh?
I did more than half my life in prison.
Oh, okay. So we already got some on the line.
She excited.
Right.
Excited.
Because I know, you know, what they went through, what you've gone through.
Okay. So what's this intake on it?
Yeah, what's your intake on it, on how they treat the inmates?
It's worse than when I was in. I got out January 24, 2010. But back then, I seen an officer put 2 shanks in a guy's locker back, and then called the captain and said that he found shanks. And they did that because the guy that was the inmate was a former cop. So
you mean
they
they
set him up.
plotted it?
Yeah. Then in Old Mansfield, which was one of the worst prisons in the day, there was an officer that would kick people down the steps, you know, and kill them just by kicking them in the back.
What?
You know, yeah, it happens. Ohio's not as bad as like Texas, California, and Florida, but they're way up there with the abuse, and it's not always physical; it could be mental. You know, and you know, the family members of the residents really don't do anything to help. They'll call and ask for help, but when you have events such as protests, they will not show up.
You said when
but
what?
When we have events, they won't show up, but they're constantly asking for help. You know, and the only way anything, yeah, the family members.
Oh, wow.
We get really no assistance from the family members for the most part. You know, for change, and the only way change will occur is if you get the numbers up there.
Right. If somebody is talking about it. So haven't they been saying like they're trying to make it where the prisons cannot make a profit off of these? Because in all honesty, if you think about it, it is almost like, okay, you get people for little stuff like marijuana. Right? Mm-hmm. Remember when they was putting people in jail for marijuana or three strikes rule and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, do they still have the 3 strikes rule?
Do they still have the 3 strikes rule?
California does.
California
I think
does.
Arizona might. Florida did, but I think Florida got rid of theirs. Ohio has the habitual rule where, you know, at so many times you get a real lengthy sentence. You know, but it's different than a 3 strikes you're out. That's all state legislation, though, in each state, and that was actually the crime bill that Bill Clinton had passed and Joe Biden sponsored about, you know, getting real tough with the crime, and they signed that into law. They did that after a guy in Ohio named Kevin Keith that Kardashian's helping to get out now, but Bill Clinton really tried to model it just to keep that guy locked up. And he was from Ohio. So, you know.
Well, I know that they need to be doing something because it's just crazy. So it's like a full cycle. So they locking people up for the smallest little whatever, you know, or stopping people illegally, or whatever's going, the stuff that we're seeing, you know, when everybody has their camera and they actually catching somebody being mistreated or whatever. But then they're taking them to jail, and then once they book them in, then they're actually getting paid for their labor.
Yeah.
And then they have quotas. I heard
Ohio,
someone say that they have quotas for how many beds they have to have filled in the jails.
I've not heard that.
I heard that before. I heard that. I can't think of who I heard that from, or I don't know if I heard it on like a news thing or whatever. But is that true?
Yeah, Walmart is the biggest contractor from the prison system. That the states work for their products, but Walmart will not hire a felon. So, but they'll use the cheap labor and stuff.
Wow. Y'all hear
but
that,
they will
America?
not hire a felon.
Walmart, for one, they don't want to pay their employees over 40 hours. I heard, they'd rather have long lines than pay time and a half.
I don't even understand that.
And they'll use inmates to make their products for very cheap labor, but they won't hire felons.
This is somebody who works and deals with the prison system. So he understands. What's the name of your organization?
Change Starts With Us, Ohio. We do have a website, and
what's your website?
Say it for me.
www.changestartswithusohio.org.
Change Starts With Us.
www.changestartswithusohio.org.
Yes.
Okay.
But
that's
so we're going to start. We're going to be putting a resource section on there too. We're working on that right now, and a lot of the resources that will be on it will apply to other states because most of them are national organizations.
Okay. I need to put that. Let me put that website on. You said it's www. Say it again.
Change
Starts With Us, Ohio.
I'm sorry, yeah. Change Starts With Ohio.
Change Starts With Us.
With Us, Ohio.
Huh?
It's Change Starts With Us, Ohio. .org.
Change Starts With Us, Ohio. Okay. .org.
Yes.
Okay.
She got it.
Okay. Okay. That's deep.
So it has our mission statement down there and, upcoming events. We have a big event this coming Saturday protesting the death penalty in Ohio.
You said what?
You said what about the death penalty?
We have a protest this coming Saturday on that in Ohio. And, I probably wouldn't have I wouldn't have thought much about it if I didn't become friends with some people on death row.
So your protest is so we can end the death penalty in Ohio?
Yes. Michigan, they just did away with theirs to a court order, but Ohio is not set up that way, so ours would have to go through legislation.
Okay.
That means voting out half the legislators.
Wow. Yes, it does, because I feel like legislation has sat on their ass for the past few years, and everybody, I think they have their own little clique, and they don't really want you about it. And a lot of people are not really knowledgeable about the city and state laws. Most people will come out and vote for presidential, but a lot of people don't do the local votes. And those are the ones where your change is going to come from.
And you know what? Obama talked about that when he was in office. If you remember, Obama, when the whole thing came and we voted Obama in, and then when it was time, he started saying, okay, it's cool that you voted me in. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to do my best. But listen, I can't do anything if the House is not also supportive of what I'm trying to do. Like, you have to come back and vote. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too.
And nobody listened to him. So now we're seeing it.
Yeah, it was the same thing when the younger Bush was in. One term, one was Republican, one and the Senate was Democrat, and then they both were Democrat, and nothing gets done if you don't have a even split.
Right.
But But they try to block President Obama and so much. And they were successful because he couldn't get anything passed.
You said what?
President Obama was very successful as the president, but the problem was the legislators tried to block him every time something good was coming up.
I know that. I remember, like when the whole child support thing started, and they were starting to really enforce child support. I remember, mothers, single mothers, we were happy about that. Like, okay, now the father has to help. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Marie, I'm sorry. Marie, we can hear you.
Oh.
So, I remember when the child support thing first started and the single parents, we were happy about that. We were excited about finally getting some assistance. However, the way that they did the men is freaking horrible. Like, there is no, true enough, fathers should help. They financially, y'all should help. Y'all should help with more than just finances. It shouldn't be all on the mama to do every freaking thing.
No,
however, a man who makes $600 a freaking pay should not have to, even if he have 3 kids, okay, but he shouldn't have to pay $450 of that freaking money to the kids.
No, it shouldn't.
How he's supposed to be able to live?
They're only supposed to pay 25 to 33% depending upon their pay. So how some of these ladies were able to get them to pay over half, I'm like, because they have to live. And he's like, well, if you need to live, then get another job. And now they got it where you can get another job and they can get child support off of that too. Ladies, if you want these men to participate in your children's lives, you can't act like he's going to pay me. If you're not with me, you're going to pay me now. On the flip side,
good, I didn't have to bring that up.
As a man, that means keeping your kids more than once out of the month, or just every other weekend. If your kid needs your help, it's during the week, or if the child is sick and she's at work, you're not at work that day, or maybe you are at work today. She done went the last time you had a sick kid to get out of school. It's your turn. Pull your weight is what we're saying. Pull your weight.
Hey, Melanie. Melanie Dixon said hello. Hey, Melanie. Yeah, pull your weight, because you know what? She said hi to you too. Hi, Melanie. Let's go there, Melanie. So if y'all want to call in, y'all can call in and be a part of the conversation. The call-in number is 516-387-1247. So that is definitely true. Like I can understand, some of the men's complaints. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, you was with this lady, you had a child with this lady, right? Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, the relationship did not work.
Right.
Okay, I get that. But you still want to be in your child's life. But the woman might be mad at you, because you don't want to be with her no more. You know what I'm saying? Or you done went on, and you know how y'all do. 3 months later, you done found another woman. You know how they do.
Oh, yeah, they go through quick. They go through quickly.
So you done got this chick pregnant. You done got this chick pregnant, right? And you decided for whatever reason you didn't want to be with her, or maybe she was always a side chick, whatever the situation is, and you done went and got somebody else. But you still want to be in the child's life. So when the child is born, the mother goes out of her way to make your life miserable, or goes out of your way to keep the child from you and still make your life miserable and take all your daggone money, all because you don't want to be with her no more, or you left her for the side chick. Or maybe you was the side chick all the time. That's not right. Sometimes women do use the system to try to hurt the men.
And I'm glad I'm a woman when it comes to that. But I can say that the system will lean towards women than men. And a lot of times a man can't even get custody. If there's a battle, a man can't even get custody unless a woman can be proven unfit. And to some extent, I agree to that when the children are young. They want the most nurturing parent, and women are supposed to be the most nurturing. But I done came across some ratchet mamas in my lifetime. and they're better with their father.
Or what about the ones who they mental health crazy? I think I done heard this case somewhere where the father was trying to get the child. I know I've heard it. I feel like I've heard this story.
And the mom was
mental. And the mom, and they ended up killing the mother and the killing. Yes. Okay, so that ended up killing the little girl. She was like 4. This man took her to court, back and forth to court for over 8 months. Children's Services were involved at least 2 to 3 times, and they still granted the baby because he was a felon. He had been to jail before, so he just did not qualify. And that's just crazy bullshit. Yes. This man lost his daughter's life because your system is messed up. The child belongs with the best parent. Period. Right. Period. Like, for instance, the author who's actually, he was supposed to be on yesterday, Corey Palmer. He was supposed to be on yesterday, but Blog Talk was on some Blog Talk type unscripted craziness. And so we'll know Matrix stuff. I don't know what was going on. So anyway, he didn't get to come on, so he'll be back on the 11th. November 11th. But anyway, he was in the system, and he ended up, after getting his life together, he got out of the system, and he got his daughter, and he raised his daughter. He's a single father. He didn't taught his baby how to write books. She didn't wrote her own book. He's an author. She's an author. You know, she's only 7. He's literally raising his child, and he was in the system. So you're not going to say that because somebody is in the system that they're not a good parent. You know what I'm saying? Right. And just because, okay, she had the baby, well then she's the mother, so it needs to be with her. No, that don't necessarily have to be the case. And not only that, like I've witnessed a couple guys that are street guys. You know, I'm just gonna be clear. They are street. They love their street life. But when it was daddy-daughter dance, they put, the streets took a break. They then came out of their sagging pants. They then suited up, and they made it. They made it to their daughter's father-daughter dance, and it was beautiful. Because these are people that just will mean mug you in the street, don't play no games, pants sagging, looking crazy, ready for or down for whatever. But for their princess, they were there. So you can't. It's sad when you go to prison to pay your debt to society. That's what you owe. But it's sad when you get out. You've paid your debt to society, but society still judges you. Like when you're trying to apply for a job and have you been convicted of a felony? You know, some applications will say this does not necessarily mean. I personally think that unless they're getting a nice write-off for taxes, a lot of companies throw it immediately in the trash can. And I do believe that's one reason why you have repeat offenders, because when you're trying to do the right thing, you're trying to get a job, but at the end of the day, bills got to get paid. Right. You know, your family got to be fed. You know, so if the only thing you know how to make money is going out in the streets to get it, then you got to do what you got to do. You know, and you shouldn't have to do that, because it should always be something out there for these felons so they can make that change, so they can be more productive to society. But if society don't give them that opportunity to do so, then, I mean, what can you do? We got Walnut Ridge in the house. John Peck said, Walnut Ridge in the house. What's up, John Peck? How you doing? Hey, John. Yeah, so Melanie Dixon said, she said, although my ex-husband left town and don't really see the kids but once every 2 years, he treated me horribly throughout the marriage, and the county was trying to get $1,200 for child support. I asked them to lower it. I knew he still had to live. So you're definitely a different kind of mom, because some moms would have been like, you know what?
Pay me my money.
Did y'all get it yet? But I understand.
I'm going to need mine.
Yeah, it's unfair to the fathers. Like the fathers, men really do have it hard when it comes to dealing with the children. And I'm not talking about the ones that y'all know y'all ain't about nothing. I ain't talking about that. Because you know
y'all do not count.
Y'all do not
Please
count.
Believe it.
Right. The ones that y'all got about 7 of them and you ain't taking care of none of them and you still got another one pregnant. And would that be, I don't know if he ain't taking care of them though. What's the singer's name? What's the rapper's name?
Who?
The one that keep having babies.
Lil Wayne.
No, not Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne take care of
Future.
Future.
Because I could say that Lil Wayne, you know, he be out and about and do his thing, and he got like 8 kids. But according to TMZ and according to different people that's watching, he showed love to all his kids. And I heard that he was cool with all his children's moms. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't know Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know how he act in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. But then you got Future, you know, who got that whole demeanor, you know, oh, well, you know, and I don't know Future. So I don't want to misjudge Future. But according to one of Future's baby moms, Sierra, you know, he didn't do nothing. And she's not mad because her husband that she got now has stepped in and stepped up. Right. And I love her. Sometimes you got to just keep it pushing. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you cannot make a man be a father. Right. That's why it's hard on a lot of people today because you get booed up too quick. And then you get all you know, the feeling all good. Now you're not using safe protection. Now you got a baby, and you only been with this guy for a few months. You got to take the time to get to know this person. Watch him around his family. Is he a black sheep of the family? Especially you watch him around his mama or his grandma, whoever raised him. That's who you need to watch him because if there's love and respect there's hope for that man. But if he's very disrespectful for the person who carried him in his womb or for the person who then took the time out to raise him and he rude, disrespectful, and unfortunately, I've seen a couple men that would sit there calling mama a bitch. I didn't seen a couple, I've heard of, you know, indirectly, but within the circle, seeing men, you know, actually lash out and push or swing on their mom. You know, men like that, you need to steer clear from. Because if he's willing to be disrespectful at any level to his mama, you ain't got nothing coming. If the woman who raised him can't get that respect, please believe you have nothing coming. Don't think that you can change him or your love can change him. Because a wise woman once told me you only truly change a man successfully when you're changing his diapers. That just means the male ascent. A man has to change within. And to me, it's biblical. You have to be right, you know. And if you're not right with God, you're not really right. You know, you have to be positive. If somebody's always putting you down, then that's not the person for you. Because if they could put you down, they could make you feel bad about yourself. If they see that you done belittled yourself, it's easier to take control over you. Then he started doing the separation. You know, like you could be around all your friends. You get with this dude now, suddenly no one ever see you. You know, not even your family. You know, it's one thing you boot up because you want to know this guy, but after months go by, might want to go to your sister's. Why? You probably got some dude waiting for you over there. You know what I mean? When they constantly questioning you, that to me that's guilt from them. So the only way they can relieve that guilt is to try to hope, you know, that they can catch you up in something because they doing wrong. You know, but, you know, I never looked for dirt. I did when I was young, but I never had. I don't want to look for dirt. I don't want to look because whenever you be looking for stuff, my great grandmother told me everything all the dirt to go down in the wash come out in the rinse. You ain't got to look for it, but when you look, you will find it. Right. But you don't have to look. Pray about it. Let it go. Because God will never steer you astray. Right. And if you have to keep trying hard and being out who you truly are to try to please a man, you are with the wrong man. And that I can definitely say. So we switched a little bit here, y'all. Yeah, because we got to get on into this domestic violence. Yes. It is domestic violence month, y'all. So that is so true. And that's for a man or woman. Yeah. In all honesty. Yeah. If you can't be who you are, if you can't be yourself with the person that you're with, if that person is not accepting the real you got to, I can't, when I get up, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to make sure this and that and the other, because otherwise, you know, he's not going to be attracted to me, or she's not going to be attracted to me. You're not with the right person, because the person is supposed to love and appreciate you. That don't mean be nasty, funky, you know, whatever, but still, you shouldn't have to change everything about yourself and walk on eggshells because you're trying to be this ideal image that this person has. Because one thing about it, you know, it's kind of like doing a first impression. After a while, you're going to slip back down into being who you are. Really are. You can't always stay with, you know, that first impression because after a while, you're going to forget about that or you're going to get pissed off about that. You're going to be like, I could be who I got to be. I was just recently, I just dissolved very recently, my relationship. It just, and to me, he's a wonderful guy. He's a great guy. This is something I'm Yeah. Yes.
I didn't get.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk. I was late getting here. But I was in a beautiful summer romance with an old friend, and it wasn't even our first time trying. And I love him. I love this man dearly. He is a wonderful friend. But we are opposite. And sometimes they say opposites attract. A lot of times they don't. That's why it's opposite. And just where he's at in his life right now, and it's comfortable for him, and that's good for him. But where I'm at my life right now, I'm not where I want to be. So I am the type of person, I'm going to keep rolling. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep climbing. I cannot stop. There is an ultimate goal that I have planned, I have set and planned that I want to do, that I would like to leave for my family, a legacy. And I am nowhere near, because I've spent years, decades even procrastinating. Coming out of that shell is like a whole new me. Mm-hmm. But I'm not ready to be settled. I'm not ready to just go to work, come home, and chill, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that if that's where you're at in your life. Mm-hmm. That's not where I'm at. I don't want to be unhappy. I love him too much I don't want him to be unhappy. I don't want him to sacrifice his happiness so I could be happy, because to me that's not that's not cool. Mm-hmm. And that's not how you're supposed to have a relationship.
I went through that too. I'm so glad that I am not in that kind of relationship.
I can't do it. I refuse to be unhappy for myself. I
was in that.
I don't know how long of a life I'm going to live. I mean, I'm hoping I live a nice, long, prosperous life at nice elderly age. But, hey, I can get hit by a car tomorrow. I don't want my last thoughts being sad or remorseful or depressed. And I'm not there. I wasn't there with him at that point. But I saw the spiral down. And he's such a good person. He needs somebody that he is very compatible with. If you happen to be listening.
Are you giving him his gave him his Dear John letter?
No.
I mean, gave him his Dear John letter yet?
No.
So all them here is Dear John letter first?
No. No, it's nothing like that. I want everybody to be happy. My thing is wake up happy. Be happy. Mm-hmm. And if you can't make the person that you're trying to commit yourself to happy, then you are living a lie. Because either you're going to sacrifice your happiness just so they could be happy, and that's a one-way relationship. Or, and that's sometimes how some people just, keep their relationship because you don't want to be alone, but you may start sliding off somewhere. And I'm not that type of person. Loyalty is deep with me, but happiness is a high priority. Yeah. I want everybody. I'm a happy person. I feel like laughter makes you live longer.
When you get to a certain age, in all honesty, and I don't know how this is for men, but I know for women, when we get to a certain age, our tolerance level is not the same. I think that's why there are a lot more women in our 40s and 50s who are single. If we are single, then or divorced or something like that, it's usually because we had gotten to that point where we can't take the crazy. We can't take the BS. Like, we know what we want. Like, after you didn't, teens, we don't know what we want.
Right.
Whoever come our way and think we cute and all that kind of, Then if we get married in our 20s, we're learning. We don't really know.
We don't really know.
You don't know. 30s, you start to know. If you stay with that person from childhood up to 30 is usually a time where you're either going to make it or you like, I'm done.
Right.
That's usually women. Women will get to about 30, 32, 33.
Between like 27, 33. No more than that.
If we're either going to continue to we know that we can deal with this person and we're all right, we're going to go the long haul, what we went through is over, done, or we're like, you know what? I've outgrown you and your bullshit, and I'm not going to be able to do it no more.
Or you've grown separate ways.
Yeah, or something's happening you can't forgive. But the thing is, by the time you hit 40 and you meet these men, or if you're a man and you meet a woman who you can tell that mentally they still 25, like you're not 25 no more, thing. Like, no.
Pants sagging.
You know what I'm saying? How you be 45, pants sagging?
Gang banging, Or throwing up with
the one braid in the back with the beads on it at 45. No,
stop it. Cut the braid. If I see another guy, and I know people say see their stuff. When you get to in your 50s and stuff, and the rest of your hair already go ahead and thinning out. You know what I'm saying? But you hanging on to that one long braid, cut it out. Literally. And metaphorically.
Let me
playing games.
Sometimes with artists, middle-aged artists, because some people like myself, it didn't happen for us when we needed it to happen. So, who's that? Is that your dick phone letter?
No. Oh, this is your phone.
That's not. Oh, that's Joshua's phone. Yeah, that's Joshua's phone. Okay, I was wondering. Okay, so anyway, don't call him. He'll call him back. I thought I put a note, not disturb. I'm using my son's phone. Nick, call Joshua back later. So, but this Nick made me forget what I was saying.
Saying must not have been important. But I mean, you got to be happy. Yeah, happiness is important. Happiness is important. I mean, plus if you stand with somebody, you're being selfish because you're not happy. That person's not happy, or you got couples that say routinely, "Well, I mean, this is how they are. Well, I just go in this room." I don't want to be in a dry relationship.
Oh, I know what I'm saying.
Okay,
artists. Artists like myself, I didn't get to come out till now, 50s, 39, 40s. I think I came out 40s. When I was in Chicago, I think I was 40 when I made that song Superwoman, all the music. So you got some artists who we will hold on to the men. We'll hold on to those looks when they didn't, the rappers.
Yeah.
They didn't get it. If they didn't become a rapper until they was 45, they still holding on to that.
Like on the 5 Heartbeats, the 2 uncles. You in their 20s.
Yeah,
we're in our 40s. No.
No, but you know what, though?
Never give up your dreams.
Never give up your dreams.
Ever.
If you want
Colonel Sanders and Kentucky Fried Chicken is all over the world. Is one of the is the most chicken actually that's sold the most today is KFC all over the world. And the banks told this man, Colonel Sanders, no. He did not get his first franchise, I believe, till his late 50s. He never gave up.
You can't.
Cannot give up your dream.
People were telling me for a long time I couldn't do it. You're not going to be able to sing, listen.
Sometimes it's the people that you are closest to that you have got to let go of until you get to where you need to be. Then you can come back and you can help. But everybody got to take their own journey. Everybody must. But the thing is, do you want to you go through your life and when it's your time close to passing and you ailing and all that, do you really want to be that person that step back and think like, wow, I really wish I'd have done this. I really wish, because you got people always like, girl, now we older now, girl. Shit, it's time to chill. It's time to do this. No, it's time to turn up. I guess you were as old as you feel. I'm high energy. People used to call it hyperactive. Today's technology, I believe, is ADHD. I don't know. I just feel like I'm not hyperactive per se, but I have a lot of energy. I I want to move a lot.
You gotta meet somebody. You have to meet somebody who is energetic and who likes the same type of stuff that you like. That's something I found out. When I was married and in my long-term relationship before I started dating Kenny, it was with men who were not in the industry. They did not understand the industry. They didn't understand what I was trying to do. They didn't understand my goals, my dreams. They didn't understand none of that. Only thing they understood was go to work, come home, cook, clean, take care of the kids, sit and watch the stories, and all them kind of different things. And that has never been.
I was an athlete. I didn't take no kids. I was not thinking about no kids. Even though I had them young.
We went through our first marriage at the same time.
It was something. It was crazy. But you know what? We were able to lean on one another, and you were able to teach one another. You know what I mean? And you learn from your mistakes.
Right.
I'm just glad that I learned from my mistakes.
Because what? You're in your 50s now. So you already know, okay, I'm not going to be able to do
it doesn't look like it.
No, you don't.
Wait a minute. I got stuck.
Black don't crack.
Like what?
Black don't crack.
No, it doesn't.
But, so it's like you already went through all that stuff in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s. So at 50, you already know. You don't have to be in a bad relationship for 6 months or a year when you get to around your 50s to know this ain't about to work. You know?
Yeah, I'm not really the type that, other than my marriage. Now, my marriage, I was with this man for 16 years, and we were probably only happy half of that. And I said,
Y'all was together for 16 years?
Yeah, because he was my high school sweetheart. We were together for a very long.
My last relationship was 16 years.
Yeah.
What is that number?
Wow.
6.
Okay, ain't that something?
1 6. 1 plus 6 is 7.
Yeah. Well, it
Number
wasn't divine in our situation.
No, my.
But I also feel like getting married too young.
Oh, shit.
You gotta learn. Who's on there?
What's up, Daryl Robinson? That's your ex-husband. So what you want to say about it? We ain't backing down. We ain't backing down, Daryl.
Not backing down. Not going to do it. What do you want to say? We got married young. I think with Daryl and I, because we both had big dreams. We did. And then I think we both didn't understand the concept of marriage. Because you're 19, 20, you have no idea what it's like being married or what you're supposed to do. He went to the service, so we were far away from our family, which was probably actually a good thing, but it was just trying to get to know one another. And then, I don't know, maybe he had that concept, because this is, keep in mind, this was the 80s. He wanted to go out, make the bacon, be home, do the housewife. And, for a while that was great because my babies were young. But as they got a little bit older and ready to go to school, I was ready to do something with myself, and we had a plan, which you reneged on, Daryl. You did. So, but it just got to the point, it became a struggle. And I will admit, there was a hint of jealousy on my end because it's like I see Daryl elevated and I'm just still stuck right here. And now I want to do something. And it's to me, I felt like I couldn't get there, and he didn't want me to get there. He had his own level of what a family should be like. He made all promises of, we're going to get here, we're going to make it, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he has. I will say Daryl has done that. I'll give him that. But I wasn't down for that. I didn't get married to have another father.
And
I had a
also,
father.
y'all were young. Right. Y'all were young.
We didn't know. So between the youth, when you get married at 19, and mind you, we already had a couple kids. So, when you get married, it's just like older children, teenage, and 19. I was still teen. I was still 18. I was an adult, but I was still a teen. And I still had the mind frame of a teen, except I was able to step up because I had children. You had to. And then moving far away from your family, you had to gain the independence. And I've been independent for a very long time.
So you just have to meet someone who is going to allow you to be you, who understands that you are a worker. She's a nurse. You know what I'm saying? Her job is taking care of people. And
so it's not like I'm like, I'm working here to here, or I'm leaving and such and such. I actually love my job. I actually love being a nurse. So I'm very personable with each and every one of my clients. I'm very personable. There's time, and there's a lot of time that we're supposed to be there, but there's a lot of times where my time will overlap because I'm just sitting, I'm just talking. I'm just making conversation with my clients. I'm not one of them type of nurses that don't care.
So Daryl said, go for it. That was very nice.
Why,
thank you,
very
nice of you, Daryl.
And then Daryl and I actually have a good relationship now.
That's good.
Yeah, it took the kids to grow up. But, I mean, I'm glad we're there. Because there's some people that I never think to my ex-husband. I'm like, well, we're not like that anymore. We grew up. And we got mature. We grew older. Yeah. And we've actually talked about it. I was able to get a lot of disturbed feelings and suppressed feelings from decades ago. We did. We had a nice, long, honest conversation. And then we were able to let all of that go, and we're cool now. And I like that.
That's good. And look, he smiled. That's good. Yeah. Me and Kurt, we on the other end. We were friends for a very long time.
Y'all were.
Got divorced, and then I don't know when I don't know. Maybe it was I don't know. I don't know. Pray for us.
And who knows? I feel like every day you wake up, you have another opportunity. If nothing else, you need to be cordial. Be cordial.
No, I'm cool. I am no, we don't.
You're cordial, but you're just not friends. Like, I don't.
Yeah, we used to be. Me and my ex-husband used to be like this, like literally. You remember?
I remember.
We was like this, like my best friend, like everything. Like we were like that. And then time, I don't know, situations, children, outside people. Because the one thing I will say to couples, I will say this. I don't care what nobody say, and Marie, you may or may not agree with me, but if you're in a relationship and you're married, you're in a household together, and y'all have disagreements or whatever, unless it's abusive or y'all fighting like hell, I think that leaving the home, separating, and you go over your mama's house, I'm gonna stay here, and all that kind of stuff, and separating is the worst thing you can do when you're in a marriage, because when you separate, you're giving each of you an opportunity, or outside people are able to come in and infiltrate whatever both of you, and they can put a wedge in between the two of you getting back together. Because you might have separated.
You always have somebody in your ear. And
no, I'm talking about when you separate, when you're no longer in the home. I'm talking about you have decided, I think I need you to move out for a while. I need you to go stay with your mama or stay with your daddy.
Get your own place.
Get your own place. Let's separate and let's try to work this out from a distance. I'm telling you, that's the worst thing you can do, because the moment you separate and he got his place and you got your place, or if you're a male, you got your place and she got her place. And that separation, that distance, here comes little, she always got little JoJo, you know what I'm saying, what's going on, baby girl, you know what I'm saying, or you got the female, whenever you need to talk, you know what I'm saying, and so here you got this right here in your ear or coming over your house so you don't be lonely, and then you still beefing with your spouse. That just brings that separation, that distance, and that's what happened with me and Kurt, in all honesty. What happened was outside influences ended up, and there was no returning. Things just was no coming back. Right. And then over the years, our communication just broke down, and then the kids is older and talking shit now, and that's just crazy.
Yeah. They're claiming their new freedom as adults.
Yeah, and it's hard when you have children who are they're in that adult age, and they're trying to express their freedom. Like I want you to respect me as an adult. I want you to see me as an adult, but yet they are still dependent. So it's just like that struggle in between of trying to express their freedom and being an adult or whatever, but still leaning on you, and then being mad that they got to lean on you, and then that friction. That's a hard thing for parents too.
Oh yeah,
Because y'all gotta remember, we carried y'all in our womb. If it's the woman, if the man, he's been around since he was a baby. Like we've watched you literally go from every phase. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and sometimes it's a little harder for parents to let go, because you're gonna always be the baby. You're gonna always be my baby. My oldest daughter, Ashley, her birthday is today, and she turned 28. Lisa.
Happy birthday
28 now. With children of her own.
Happy birthday to you.
Trisha always do the birthdays.
I have to start.
Happy birthday. But there's times when she does something, I just, as a mother, it's just a natural instinct. You just jump in because you want your kids to be okay. So you jump in and you go that fight for them. DALEESA. And that's what you do. Out of all my clients, most of DALEESA. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, there she goes.
Yeah. So but out of all my clients, I actually have one client that's younger than everybody else. And, we kind of got into a small dispute, and she was like, you talk to me like I'm one of your kids. And I'm like, what? It never even, I subconsciously was doing that until she got angry enough where she called me out on it, and then she threw out samples, and I'm like, whoa. But I do think of her more on a child level. I respect her as an adult, but I'm thinking about her more on a child level.
So Melanie Dixon, she basically said, I guess she was responding to the other thing. She said, right, and sometimes people try to make you feel bad for wanting something different, and I'm not trying to settle so we can be friends, and I wish them well in life. And that's true. You know, she's talking about the relationship. You know, some people make you feel bad for not wanting to stay in the relationship.
Yeah.
But you know
you can't do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't do it.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Especially if it's abusive.
I love you enough to leave. I love you enough to leave, or you were too abusive enough for me to stay. You know, in any abuse is too much. In any abuse, it's too much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you love that person, but you have to love yourself. If you don't have self-love first, it's hard for you to love someone else if you don't know how to love yourself.
We got a caller. Let me see.
Okay.
Caller, is that Misty? That might be Misty. Misty, is that you?
Yes, it's me. How you doing?
What's going on,
Hey.
Misty? I told you Misty said
Hey.
We're actually on live, Misty. Do you see us on
I
live?
know. No, I don't see y'all, but I already knew.
Oh, okay.
So,
How y'all
Misty,
feeling?
where can you at?
Huh?
Say that again.
We're doing good.
Say it again.
We're talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What you say?
I said, I'm doing okay. I said, happy birthday to your baby, Marie, and my twins' birthday. My twins' birthday are tomorrow. They'll be 30. Laquisha and Laquana, happy birthday.
30? We're getting older.
Yes, the twins will be 30.
I'm getting fine. I'm getting better. I'll make a promise. I will step down from my crown when I see Janet Jackson, J-Lo, who else in my Nene. You know, I'm throwing, what's her name? That's the model, the one that's from Atlanta Housewives. Cynthia. I feel like you as fine as you want to be. You know what I mean? If you want to go around looking, you know, look however you want to look. It's your look. You can look however you want to look. But I'm going to look however I want to look for as long as I want to look it.
Right. I love
do.
different looks. Let me tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all know me. That's what I love about the relationship I'm in now, because he allows me to be myself. He doesn't care if I'm not doing my hair this week. This is Afro week. This is natural week.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying? And so,
y'all see these edges? It's coming down.
He doesn't care. Or if I
just
decide that I'm tired of the Afro and I decide I want to wear a wig, he don't care. I told you. When I come up today, I'm Sheila. Sheila E today. Yeah. I mean, you don't care, and that's cool. Like, you just got to find somebody who's going to accept you for you. So we were talking about relationships, Misty, and just that point where you just like, you know, when you get to be, are you in your 40s or 50s? You're younger. I think you're younger than that.
I'm 44. I'll be 45 in May. Yeah.
So we were saying that when you get to be like your 40s and 50s, you kind of like know what you can deal with, what you can tolerate, what you can't.
Right.
And that's why women who are, those of us, you know, who are still single or who are divorced and haven't remarried or whatever, it's just because we've got to that point where I already know I'm not going to be able to handle that. I already know I'm not going to be able to do that. You know, like if you're you meet someone you date, like the gentleman that you would date, or, you know, you went back and said, let me try it again. Right. But at this age, at this point in your life, you already know, like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do that. Or I'm not going to be able to modify who I am right now. This is not,
set myself aside. I'm not willing to set myself aside for you.
Yeah, he did bring some truth to the table, because it was like, you know, I don't think you'll ever, you know, you don't need a husband. You married to your job. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But one thing that I do remember, I could recall, regretfully, is that my children was like, you're always at work. You're always at work. Being broke just couldn't be an option.
That's because you were see, this is what men need to understand.
Got to.
When you're dating, especially when you're dating a single mother or someone who has been married before.
Right.
If you were ever married before or in a committed relationship where the man was a provider, he was taking care, you wasn't lacking. When you separate, you still want that, or you still try to get that, especially if the kids are all on you. You're still trying to keep that type of thing going on.
And that's one thing I will say. my ex-husband Daryl, I don't know if he still watch, but he set the bar pretty high. Cause I watched the man come from, not much to, his attitude on making it was so clear to him in his head. I was a housewife and he went out and worked, and sometimes things got tight, but he always made it happen. He did, and I have to give him that. And whenever he upgraded, we were able to upgrade. It was happening, because being broke, being poor, it just wasn't an option for him. So it's kind of hard, when you out here, you got a couple guys out here that think that you their mama or that you supposed to help. I'm not doing that. But even before I got married, and my husband was an excellent provider. I will never take that from him. But even prior to my husband, my father was prominent in my life. My father was very prominent, and all I saw him do was work. And when my mother and my dad were married, my dad's check paid the mortgage. His check paid all the utilities. My mom bought what she needed for us, and she bought the food. They had a division, but there was no mistake. He was the breadwinner. He was the head honcho, and we never lacked. We never lacked. We never had to. He knew how to stretch things out. She knew how to stretch things out. But unfortunately, together, they did not work well as a team. But my dad was an excellent provider. Excellent. And he was also one of those fathers that, when they did get divorced and he had to pay child support, he still came and got his kids on the weekend. You got some dads, I paid my child support, but then they don't want to spend time with the kid, and their thing is, well, it's because I paid my child support. Okay, well, but yet your kid is going to feel that abandonment, and your kid is going to act out because of it, be it a boy or a girl.
Right. So, so that's an issue, because women who were in relationships with men who were providers, and then you get out here, and if you're dating somebody who's not really a provider, that's just like, you know what I'm saying? Or
right.
Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. So he's wanting you to just, be there when he's ready for you to be there, but is he help paying the bills so you can be there? I mean, because if he feel like you're working too much, then he could have been like, well, you know what? I feel like you're working too much. I don't get to see you. What is it that you feel like you need help with, so you can slack down, so maybe you can let go, one client, or maybe you can let go of a
and
day.
See, that I've not heard.
Because
until I hear that, I can't do it.
That's what
because I'm on a mission. I'm going to get there. If you help me, that's beautiful. If you don't, hey, that's cool, because it's my mission. It's my journey. But I'm on that journey. I'm not going to stop till I get there. Either I'm going to get there or I'm going to die trying. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, and just have all kind of dreams that's lingering over me that I could have done, the difference that I could have made, the mark. Why are we here? Why are you sitting here? Why are you on this earth? Why are you here? What is your purpose? Step into your zone. Do your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Make yourself known. Let the world know that you were here. If not the world, let your family know. Show that you paved the way so that they can come out and do a little bit better. But for in the time frame that we are put on this earth, we weren't here in caveman time. We weren't here, in the early 1800s during slavery. Thank you, Jesus. But for this time that we are right now, where we are embarking new beginnings, make your mark.
Right.
Make your mark.
Right.
And that's be it white, black, blue, purple.
But don't be one type of person that you ain't working and you sitting there playing the game and you mad at her because she working and making the money and she gone all the time because you ain't working, and then you mad because, you ain't doing nothing. And she's out there doing everything, and then you're mad that she's always gone. Well, you ain't doing nothing. Like, what are you doing to help her be there more? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, because she should be gone if all you doing is
with the
damn. That you should be. Unless
how much more do you have to do? Yeah, but how much more do you have to do to show somebody? But how much more do you have to do to show somebody that you're there for them when all that you have done should have been not enough, but enough in that moment? You know what I'm saying? That I don't know. I be telling everybody like that I come in contact with, like my extended family. We I try to come as we. You know what I'm saying? If I don't put
Right.
my all into it and you're not paying attention, that's not my fault. But if I do as much as I know to possibly do to help you in that time, you should be taking heed. And if you don't take heed, that's not my fault either. But who are you to leave me behind just because? I'm not
Right.
floating at your rate, you know what I'm saying, at your time and all that stuff. Don't leave me behind. I believe in no child left behind.
You know what my worst fear is? My worst freaking fear is for my sons to grow up to be lazy, no good men. Just looking for a woman to take care of them and not able to hold their home. That's my worst fear. Like I want
my worst fear.
My babies are young now, but I'm just saying that's my worst fear. I don't want my sons to be sorry ass men because a lot of the young ones was born in the 2000s. Around them areas, they is lazy as hell.
And you know, part of that, I'm going to blame the women because you got some women that are so lonely and their self-esteem is so low that having a piece of a man, whether he's good, bad, at least he's there. At least I got a man. But what do you got if you got to take care of him? You don't have a man. You have another person present, but it's not a man. But to answer your question, Missy, I'm going to say this. And I heard it when I was listening to one of Joe Osteen's sermons. He said, don't be willing to swim across the ocean for somebody who's not willing to jump over a puddle for you. And that is the truest statement. And I see people go out their way, go above and beyond, and the other person will sometimes feel like they're entitled. Or is that all you got? I am no longer willing to swim across the ocean to please somebody, that is not willing to jump over a puddle for me. That's because if I'm not important to you, then I can't waste my time on someone who feel like that I lack that worth and I'm not that important. I'm not willing to waste my time on that.
Right.
You know, I mean, my goal is be happy, move forward, and do the things that you are striving to do.
What's going on, Barbara Nellens Goins? And is that Valdez Johnson? Valdez, Valdes? Yeah, okay. And George Clark and Lydia Davis. Melanie Dixon, she's been really in on the conversation. Is that David? What's that? Sarum? I can't pronounce nothing, y'all. Let me use my phonics. Luna. Thank y'all for checking this out. So I think that that's my worst. My sons not being who they're supposed to be, and like you said, Missy. As far as the relationship, you don't want to be investing a whole bunch into somebody who's not willing to give that back to you. You know what I'm saying?
And then what you got to do is take it you're not doing it for, the record. You're doing it because you care, and you'll receive the blessing from that. But if they have sometimes if you may try to open a door that won't open. And that's because God has closed that door. And sometimes when people leave and move out of your life and you've done everything you possibly could and they still leave, because, baby, it was not meant for them to stay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could, if you do all the praying or all the waiting and all the compromising, all the everything, and it's not working out, that's because it wasn't meant to work out. And some things are not meant to work out. Say thank you and keep moving.
Right.
He obviously or she obviously was not for me.
Their part in your journey at this point in your life, it has been completed. Whatever the assignment was, for the reason why they entered into your life, for more than just a high and a buy, whatever that assignment is, when they walk out, especially if you had nothing to do with them leaving, that shows you that it's completed. But sometimes we keep people in our lives when we need to be kicking them out, right?
Right.
Because we're trying to hold on to them, because, like you said, don't want to be alone.
And sometimes people understand it's not even about you. Sometimes people will use you You know how like sometimes, and I don't mean to sound harsh, but you know how sometimes a leech will suck on to something until they're full of the blood, then they just drop off or go to the next, the next time. Sometimes people will use you, get sucked up as much as they can from you, then when they find something better or somebody that can take them to another journey, because it was never about you.
Yeah.
You made it about y'all. But sometimes people are very honest that, my intentions was never to be with you. I said we were cool. Or if you notice that y'all out together, like, oh, yeah, we doing this, or this is my boo, and he's like, oh, no, this is my friend. It was never about you. It was about that person getting to the next level. You just happened to have been there. And these are people who sometimes or generally still fall. They keep taking the fall, don't understand why. Man, life don't never go my way, because you can't always be a grimy ass.
Right.
That's
karma.
That's
karma.
what it is.
You cannot
purposely
get
what you want.
hurt people and be deceptive and do things and think that is not coming back to you. Giving it out, give it unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, rolling over. And that's in every aspect. It's a spiritual law. Whatever you give is coming back to you. It's going to be more than what you gave. And a lot of times it come back when you least expect it. It don't be like, okay, I know I did some messed up stuff. I know it's coming back next week. No, it may not be next week. You know what I'm saying?
And it's usually at the most inopportune time.
The worst time.
Yes.
But you're going to remember, because there's going to be something in that karma that's going to make you remember what you did to someone else.
That's it.
You're going to remember. You're going to think, when you go through that horrible thing, you're going to be like, oh, my God, now I know how such felt when I did it to her or I want to do it to him. That's your karma. You can't do people wrong. And even when you try to use people just to get ahead, I'm going to use this person until I get here. I'm going to use this person until I get here. Something's going to happen, and you're going to have to fall back by all them people that you use.
Oh yeah, what they
say? Right back
they
down.
say the same people whose toes you step on, whose fingers you step on your way up the ladder, the same people that you got to look at on your way back down.
Yeah, it comes back. It really, it's not even worth it. Like, it's not worth it.
No.
And for what? To gain some imaginary materialistic stuff that you can't even take with you.
Cannot take it. I've never seen the U-Haul follow with a hearse.
No, sometimes they do be like, listen, I want all my stuff in the grave with me. I don't even know. Them just selfish people. Like,
I've never seen that.
Why you
want
to?
Yeah,
I've seen on TV where somebody got buried with some stuff. They want their jewelry. They want this. They want that. Put it in the
How
casket.
much you want to bet somebody in the dug that shit up? The minute the sun went down, the people that left. If I know that I'm homeless or I'm broke, I'm down on my luck, and man, I need a couple dollars. I don't know where I'm gonna get this money. But I also saw on TV where this rich person got buried and all their diamonds. I got money laying on the ground. And when
you got money that's being picked up from off the ground because, honey, I done seen it before. A funeral director or whatever.
Disrespectful.
What?
But we can't get mad at that either, because what's mine is mine, and I want to go with it when when I'm going, or if I don't want to share. That's what I was just having a conversation with somebody else too. But your treasures that's built down here. If you meet them for down here, they're not going to go up in heaven with you if you even make it to heaven.
Right. Little stingy want to take and put them down to the grave.
But, for us that believe we came in naked, we going out naked. We ain't taking nothing with us.
Right.
Because it don't mean nothing,
Right.
But to answer your or make a statement against your statement, Patricia, as far as my son, I want him to know who truly is real for him and not against him, because as we see all these murders are going on in Columbus, Ohio, and it's a lot of us that know each other. These are our children killing our children,
I know.
and causing harm to people's lives. And these females out here setting these young guys up, that don't know no better. They don't know. I'm sitting here preaching to my son, like, you got to be aware of people, and the sad thing about it is he said, and another one of my children said to me, like, I can't think like you think. What you mean you can't think like I can't think? You have to use all.
And you know what? They
sides of your
can't. They
brain.
can't. And I'll tell you why, Miss.
It's
They
sad.
cannot.
It's really sad when you can.
He is right. He is right. Because, you know, we were raised in a different time, in a different era. They are raised in a time where everything is fast. Technology is going.
But
They
what about when they're raised? What about when they're raised the right way and they know better? You know what I'm saying? When you know better. If I tell you something, that means I'm not going to tell you nothing to harm you and put you in harm's way or take discount from you or none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you all my all. What I know. Some of the things that I taught you, it wasn't right, and I appreciate you letting me know that, and I see that now. You know what I'm saying? And I understand your point of view, and I respect it because everybody has a voice. You know what I'm saying? But if there's something that I'm telling you that's detrimental to your life, why not just listen? Why not just listen and fall hard to it? Because I'm not going to lead you in no direction that's going to harm you whatsoever. I cover you in the blood. Every day, whether you know it or not.
Missy, we're going to have to continue that next week because we got exactly 56 seconds left, and I don't want to cut you off.
I love y'all, and happy birthday to my twins, and happy to Quisha Kwana, and happy birthday to Marie's baby, and happy birthday to everybody else that's on the birthday. Libra gang.
Libra gang.
Okay.
Make sure y'all come back next Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Move, unscripted ladies roundtable discussion. And we are out of here.
And thank you, James Cronenberg, for coming on Insight.
Yes.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Can you feel that music? That song is playing. Can you feel that beat? Can you feel it? Can you feel the music? Can you feel the beat? Yeah. Let the music cruise through your body till it reaches your feet. When I was a young girl, my mother told me, she said you gotta have faith, baby. You gotta believe. She said, when one door closes, another door opens. You gotta have faith, baby. You gotta believe. She told me, she said, there's nothing too hard for you if you believe. You gotta have faith, baby. You gotta believe. Can you feel that music, that hanky beat? Let the music cruise through your body till it reaches your feet. Yeah. When one door closes, another door opens. You gotta have faith, baby. You gotta believe. Listen, y'all. They used to tell me, they said, Patricia, you won't succeed. They said that music thing, you won't succeed. But I didn't listen. You know why? There's nothing too hard for you if you believe. You gotta have faith, baby. You gotta believe. Oh, and don't
walking. Keep on believing and have faith. Hey, woo! Can you feel my music? That hanky beat. Let my music cruise through your body till it reaches your feet. God, come in with a message that's just for you. He said, have faith in your dreams, and they'll come true. Have faith in your vision. Have faith in your dreams. Have faith in your passion. Do what you want to do. There's nothing too hard for you. If you believe, you gotta have faith. You gotta believe.